Hi guys, thanks for tuning into the channel. My name is Liz and I'm a reseller in Maryland. In this week's video, I take you with me to a local rummage sale that turned up an Antiques Roadshow find for just $4. Let's go check it out.
So the clips that you're going to see actually cover 2 consecutive mornings at this sale. They do bring out more merchandise each day, and they won't unpack everything, even if you ask them to, which I get it, they don't have space for it. But they have different sections. This is like the China glassware collectible section. I almost bought this piece of pottery, but to me it was very amateur, even though it was kind of well done, and I didn't see a signature. It had a little coarseness to it. I had no idea what was going on here. I guess it's a jar of broken glass. Someone help me out. Is it for crafting or is it decorative all by itself? I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I almost bought it because I often buy things I've never seen before. Almost always, actually. There were a few interesting little trinkets in here, but this looked like sort of like a tourist piece. So I passed on that. I've also had pieces like that I haven't sold. Why was this so cute? I don't know. I love pottery, so I always pick it up, but I actually have a lot of studio pottery, so I'm trying to be more cautious, which is why I passed up this beautiful little ashtray. I don't actually sell a lot of ashtrays either. That was made in Japan. I mentioned this later on, but I sometimes will try to avoid the areas that are most shopped, not only because I don't feel like rubbing elbows with a lot of people who are kind of pushy, but also because those places maybe have untapped treasure. So I found myself in the scarves, and I also did find myself some amazing scarves that I will share with you later in the video. I did go to the jewelry section quite a few times. I didn't film all of my search, but I will share the highlights of what I picked up. And I probably would have bought that mixed metal necklace, but it was dented. I can't say they sell super well, but I'm kind of drawn to them, to be honest. They remind me of like mid-century, like Mexican tourist pieces. I actually did pick this up, but I did not include it in the haul. I don't think it has a ton of value, but I did really like it. I'm going to move to a room where Wesley isn't trying to bark at something, which is a real challenge, let me tell you, because he barks in almost every room. So we'll go into the creaky dining room and see if that is helpful. So this was a nice enamel piece, but I think it was just very modern. I'm looking for a signature etched on the back, and I didn't see one. And I do have a lot of jewelry. I'm going to start selling on Whatnot. In fact, my first show is this Sunday, February 16th at 7 p.m. If all goes well, you can find me under the same name, Flippin' Lizzie, there. And I will be selling primarily vintage jewelry for the moment. Some fine jewelry, some native, some costume. Now let me know if you would have picked this up. I really liked this cross. I think the made in India part made me think it was more modern, but I do like moonstone a lot. And it was sterling. I'm kind of not sure why I didn't get it. Would you have gotten it? Please let me know in the comments. Maybe you'll make me feel better. Maybe you'll make me feel worse. I don't know. That's not your job to take care of my emotions. And I'm a little bit of a turquoise snob. And so even though I think this probably was sterling, a southwestern piece, I don't really like chipped turquoise. I mean, it's wonderful that they can make those mosaics out of it, but I just don't like it as much. And for $15, I decided to pass. So, spoiler alert, I did find a designer piece in here, and they do go through all of their jewelry, but they still will price costume designer pieces kind of low, with what Mike Wolf might call plenty of meat on the bone. So I do look for designer pieces in there. So even though they know what it is, they leave plenty of room for resellers. This was not sterling, but I was looking to see if it was some kind of a sterling piece. And you know, I picked this up, but it didn't make the highlights haul because it's not really anything, and actually I think it's broken. But it had that, excuse me, Victorian kind of look, and so I think I did pick that up for a couple of bucks, which is fine. It's sort of a mistake, but I found a piece of Victorian jewelry, which I will show you in a few minutes, that more than made up for that $2 error, I guess. So I didn't find too much in the housewares, but I try to always look because sometimes you'll find a Dansk piece, or they used to have Pyrex there, but they never have it anymore. I don't know if other pickers go there first and get it or how that works out, but I never find any decent Pyrex there anymore. Although Pyrex, let me know in the comments if you're a reseller. Does Pyrex still sell really, really fast for you? Because it really doesn't for me now. Unless it's something special on Etsy. It will sell well, like it's pink or forest fancies or something like that. That will sell quickly. So they have a ton of books. I did get a few books, which I will show you. I think I end up showing you one of the books I got. This I almost got for me, but I don't know if I have enough spare time to plan to read The Executive Brain. So that was me being executive and making that decision not to get that book. And then The Huntress, somehow I identified with this title. But I have a whole stack of books at home that I need to read. And Kate Quinn is an author I will find at the library when I'm caught up on my reading. So I was looking to see if they had one of those vintage jar openers or some nifty little gadget that you never see anymore. I don't think it makes the haul, but I did buy myself a new baster because I can never find my baster, and the chicken never comes out right if you don't baste it, at least for me. Let me know if you're a baster or not. It's very unusual for me not to baste. It's funny the things you learn about people on YouTube. Whether you're the person with the channel or the people commenting, sometimes people share interesting things about themselves. I do check the linens. I'm looking for Vera Newman pieces or mid-century pieces that stand out in some way. This was one of those chenille bedspreads. They don't sell well for me. If I saw a peacock or something like that, I would certainly grab it, but a plain green one I'm not going to pick up. I don't like photographing them. I don't like shipping them either. By the time I got to the Christmas, I think it was pretty well picked over. That's a big collectible area for a lot of people. This was super cute. I love these wooden pieces. And I was going to pick this up even though it's the wrong season. I'd have to store it till next year. And then I realized that one of them was broken, but I can't remember which part. But something was broken and it saved me from buying it. And I almost bought the eggs, but my kids are teenagers now. And I don't know if they really want to do an egg hunt anymore. I'd have to put like dollar bills in there or something. Probably $10 bills with inflation. And then these guys caught my eye. Now, I don't think these are quite as valuable as they used to be. And let me know in the comments if you know what they are. But I do still think for $1 or $2 a piece, they were worth it. And this comes up later, but I have found some amazing pieces in the clothing at this sale. The clothing is very inexpensive. I will share more other than that Robert Graham shirt later. And then the last piece from the actual shopping footage, don't worry, we'll do a highlights haul, was this beautiful vintage clutch. It's amazing. I think it's snakeskin. Let's go to the haul. Okay, we are going to do table 1 of the highlights haul. I'm not showing you every single thing I picked up because it would take way too long. I wanted to focus instead on teachable moments that would help you get more bang for your buck when you're out there. So many of you probably skip over the hosiery. This particular pair is probably worth $15, which isn't a ton, but I probably paid 50 cents. And I bought a bunch so you could sell them as a lot. And some are worth a lot more, so I did include them so that you would know to keep an eye out for them. Plus, no one's shopping the hosiery, which is great. I paid $1.50 for this beautiful little antique turned wooden box. It is so darling. I'll try to put up a comp for something similar. I have a weakness for these because my parents collected stuff like this. We inherited some from our family as well, and they go way, way back. For $1.50, I'm in. Foo dogs. I know they're not dogs, they're lions. These are stone. They are really cold right now because I just brought them in from outside. They are extremely heavy, and you should always buy them. They're probably worth at least $100 each. I always sell the foo dogs that I pick up. New old stock. I'm pretty sure Tuition Ain't Cheap is the YouTuber who kind of taught me about cleaning supplies and
health and beauty products, and this is still sealed. It's never been used, and when you see the comp, you will be shocked. I actually was very pleasantly surprised by that. We've probably mentioned, if you've been with the channel for a while, that you should look at vintage cookbooks. First of all, they're really cool. And secondly, some of them are very valuable. I recently sold a cookbook for over $400, guys. You have to look at them. Use Google Lens if you have to. Put it in your bag and process it later. They don't cost a lot of money. So if you made a mistake, it's not going to be a big mistake. I say grab them. I did use Google Lens when I was there because I get a little backlog with my cookbooks. And so I knew that this was a good one. The comp will show you that it was well worth picking up for maybe $1. This is like not a wallpaper, but it is kind of a wallpaper, but it's like a stencil that you put around the top of a room. This is vintage new old stock. It's probably worth about $25 just for this little roll. Is the price tag still on it? I thought it was. I think it was like $1. I checked out the belts because, again, it was really crowded. They let everyone in, and it gets really crazy at this sale. And so I'm like, where can I go where people won't bug me? And also where no one has looked yet. And so this is an 80s belt. I believe the name is, hold on a second. I didn't know the name. Probably wore it back in the day. A Broad, made in the USA. But I grabbed it because it was maybe $1. It might have been less than $1. And I had also gone through the men's belts. I believe this women's belt was in the men's belts. This is a vintage limited, and it is leather. These are all leather belts. This is like a kind of rustic, heavy, tooled leather belt. Kind of like a Native American Southwest motif with those rattlesnake bite stamps that you see on native jewelry. Such a cool belt for like $1. I love tooled leather belts. They always sell in the booth. Hang on, is this not the tooled leather one? Oh, it is, okay. This one has mushrooms on it. Can you guys see that? Hold on. It's harder to do with one hand than you might imagine. Look at the mushrooms. So that will sell great no matter where I put it. And this one surprised me. I learned something today. My daughter was like, oh boy, here she goes. So these belt buckles tend to not be worth that much in general, brass belt buckles, but this one was really, really nice, and it came on a really nice belt. See the tool leather here? Beautiful. And the back, it's Tiffany and Company. Tiffany Studios. The real shocker, though, is that it's actually not worth that much, even though Tiffany made it. But it is worth picking up for $25, $30, and the belt is worth, makes it worth more. So I might list that online because that's a really, really nice old leather belt. Speaking of leather, I got this really cool snake skin clutch. This is also vintage Steve. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. But it's got a little bit of wear, but I feel like if this is from maybe the 70s, which I think when it's from, based upon the comps I was finding, it's, first of all, it's well worth it, but also I think, you know, I'm kind of from the 70s and I have more wear than that thing. So it's doing okay. One of the best things I found, so I went to the sale 2 days because they bring out new stuff. And honestly, I couldn't tell you if this stuff was new or not, but my brain did that thing. Let me know in the comments if your brain does that thing where you feel like, like an alarm goes off. So these are I think it's Tom Clark. Now I'm going by memory, and you know what? I'm from the 70s, so sometimes my memory's not that great. These were like $1 each. It's a whole box of them. Someone's whole gnome collection. Look, we even have a gnome bride and groom. I guess that's what that is. Anyway, I grabbed them for $1 each. I was super psyched. I was just about to walk out the door and my brain did that radar thing. And I said, hold on a second. And I grabbed all those. And when you look at the comp for a set that's probably twice the size of mine, it is shocking how much it is worth. I hardly ever buy cards, guys, but they were in the original box and nobody was over there. I don't think anyone had touched them. I'm hoping this box is worth maybe $100, like the comp. I wish it were sealed, but we got to do what we got to do. We're going to shift forward so I can save some of the best items on this table for last. And I just want to remind you to look at the vintage scarves. Now, this is not my favorite Vera Newman scarf, but look for her very distinctive signature because people do collect her scarves, and she has a million different patterns. I've never seen this geometric one before. I think this is probably 70s or early 80s is my guess based on the colors and design. Being an 80s child, well, I was a teen in the 80s, I see this Halston color block spell out scarf. These are probably worth, the Vera's probably only worth about 18 to 20. I just don't think it's like anyone's favorite print. The Halston's worth probably about 20. But look at the scarves, because you might find one that's very distinctive, like this one. This has a lot of meaning to people in the Baltimore area. This is like a, what do they call it? Like a fireman's insurance type seal. And some of the houses will have a brass plaque left over from when there were plaques on the houses to let people know which houses needed to be protected, I guess. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. That's my understanding of it. So that I'm going to sell locally because I think someone's going to love that. Some of the tourist ones, this is like a classic Paris tourism one, can be really good. This one's, I guess, Kentucky. It's got Man of War, my favorite racehorse. And I think this one is either Baltimore or Annapolis. It's really, really pretty too with the colors. So check out the scarves. You can stay far away from people who are being obnoxious. This one was really cool too. And if you see a signature, at least look it up. See what it's worth, because some scarves can be worth thousands of dollars. This one felt amazing. So you can kind of shop with your hands and not just your eyes. I use my eyes a lot, but I think Lavender Clothesline talks about touching the fabrics and how you can tell. This is interesting. It's called Cash Mink, and it feels amazing. Made in Germany. Beautiful scarf, and has some value. I thought this one was vintage, but when I was researching, it sounded like it really wasn't. So one of the best things I found was this vase, and I saw it from like a mile away, and I had not gone to the area where they have vases first. I did jewelry first this time. So I was kind of surprised it was still there, and my brain did a wonderful thing and identified it, spoiler alert, identified it for me as Lutz, which doesn't look like Lutz when you spell it out, but I saw a woman picking it up and my heart sank, and I waited. I think I might have held my breath, and she put it down, and I picked it up and I looked for a signature and there wasn't one. But Google Lens identified it as Lutz. It is unbelievable. It's so like organic too. But then on top of this sort of organic looking form, then it has this beautiful iridescence. $4, guys. The comps are anywhere from $500 to $1,100 for this vase. You got to get out there and shop. You have to do it. I went to the jewelry first this time, and I did find a few things. These were in the costume jewelry for about $5 or $6. They're probably worth $60 more than that. This 90s wolf motif stuff is back, mixed metals. So that's why those have some value. This was priced way up at $8. This is Kenneth J. Lane. I think they knew what it was, but at this particular sale, it's important to know, even if they know what it is, they're not going to probably price it at retail. And this could be worth over $100. This necklace, very cool. It does have some wear to it. These were priced at $10 because they're sterling, but they're probably worth, I'm going to say about $60 or $75. And these are really cool because look, I like how they have two different colors of blue stone to them. And then this little pin was in the costume jewelry. And if you've been doing jewelry for a while, you kind of recognize, your brain might tell you, ooh, I think that's like Victorian. It is Victorian. It is not marked as gold. It is signed by the maker, Kohn, K-O-H-N. I had to acid test it myself, which is really easy, by the way. My dad and I made an instructional video on it. You guys can scroll back and find that video. I think it's from last summer, but it is very, very easy to test, and it's 14 karat gold, and it weighs, I think, about 2 grams. So that was well worth the $2. We're gonna move on to the next table. So I bought a ton of clothing this time. I had a big score last time I was at this sale, and I think that's part of the reason. Plus, everybody was going crazy at this sale, and again, I need a little bit of breathing room. People were really right on top of each other, which is not that comfortable. So I picked up a couple of shirts by this maker, whose name I did not know, but when I touched them, I could tell that they were a really nice fabric, very nice condition. I think all the shirts I bought were sort of Hawaiian style with the short sleeves. These shirts retail for over $100 each. So they're well worth the $1 or $2 that I spent. This is sort of like what I might call granny core. This like, I'm thinking this is 80s or 90s, like kind of kitsch sweatshirt. MBC is the name on the label. And I just love this cat in this pile of candy corn. It is super cute. I actually like the, I'm going to call it crazing, the crackle finish, because then you know it's true vintage. Not very pilly. I'll probably still sell this in the booth, but I'm going to have to think about the comp, which I'll put up for you guys, because maybe it is worth putting online. And it's a nice size too. It's a nice bigger shirt. I did get quite a few Hawaiian style shirts, and then I got a few Hawaiian shirts that are like true mid-century shirts. This one, they cut out the tag, but Google Lens saved the day. Look at the comp. I mean, this pattern was easy for Google Lens to recognize. This has a different texture. I don't know what the fabric is called, but it has like a sort of like, it has a lot of texture to it. I don't think it's like tricot, because isn't that more like a towelish? I don't know, but it's this heavy, slightly rough, maybe absorbent type of material. This pattern and colorway are everything. So this person had kept all their Hawaiian shirts, it seems. I love this shirt. The comp makes me love it even more. Another name, in addition to that one, that you should look for when you're looking at Hawaiian shirts is Hilo Hattie. True mid-century stuff. I think they might still make stuff, so it's possible this is a little more modern. But I learned that a few years ago, I was buying things for $1 a piece out of this estate sale, and I got this dress, this little jacket, and a matching Hawaiian shirt for the woman's husband, and they were all by that maker, and they have great comps. So look for Hilo Hattie when you're looking at Hawaiian stuff. If you watch Lavender Clothesline, you probably have heard her talk about Robert Graham. This is a great size, 2XL. I didn't even realize, because it's a slim fit. I don't know who's a 2XL and fits in that, but okay. This shirt is super cool though. This like swirly or ribbony type stripe of color down the side. I love it. I think it's amazing. And this actually, I think, was the shirt that made me slow down and shop and get those other shirts, not the cat that was in the women's section. And so you got to slow down and look at the clothing. And clothing at these rummage sales is so cheap. So this is not a huge moneymaker, but music, right? Events, obviously concert t-shirts. I just thought someone's going to want like a sort of broken in blues, jazz and blues festival t-shirt, but I'll probably put this in my booth. I think it will sell right away for 15 to 20 bucks, which isn't that different from the comp. So the reason I was shopping this section a little more heavily this time is because the last time I went to the sale, I was looking at the t-shirts for my son, and I grabbed this really cool shirt. I'll put up a picture of it for you. It's listed in my Etsy shop. And I was going to give it to my son. And then I realized that the tag said liquid blue. And I was like, liquid blue, liquid blue. And I was thinking, I think Part-Time Picker mentioned liquid blue. I'm not really a clothing reseller, that at least not that much. And I looked up this shirt, the Scream, and it was worth hundreds of dollars. So I promptly decided not to give it to my 14-year-old son and instead listed it in my Etsy shop for several $100s. So it's worth looking around. I think I paid $1 for that shirt. Anyway, I'm glad you guys came with me on this 2-day journey to like vintage heaven. Price is nice and low. I got some good finds. Hopefully you guys learned something. I hope you get out there. You get to have a great time shopping. I always hope that you never stop searching, and I will see you guys next time.